Yeah, awesome. Let's go. That's what it is. You already? Awesome. We about to make a cool million, man. Cash some checks. Let's go. Check right. Yeah. A lot of speculations on the monies I've made. Honeys I've slayed. How is he for real? Is that nigga really paid? Really? Similar to Jay's. Rhymes to myself. Rhymes to be made. The games to be sold. Y'all niggas wanna tell. Running to the cops. Run and go tell on your Martin shit. Think you funny as hell. You funny as shit. Jokes on you. The game ain't changed. It changed on you. Awesome. Yo.
As always, booked and busy. It was Kevin to invite us here on the Create Your Life series. This is his baby, his passion project. This is his podcast and radio show that he's been gracious enough to invite us on. We're going to talk about us. We never really talk about us. You know, the interviewer never gets to be the interviewee. So you'll hear about our relationship, how we met, our professional goals, being entrepreneurs. So there's a lot of great content that we're going to be talking about today. As you know, we're always on the road, always booked and busy. So Kevin's bad bougie, booked and busy. Kevin's over here getting this show notes together.
You want to give a quick rundown, Kev?
Man, I'm excited. I've known Evan for,
since 2002, so
since 2002, that's almost 20 years. I had the opportunity to meet this lovely young lady, Little Miss ENT, Candace. So super excited to have them on. I'm like, man, we're talking about love and podcasting. You know what I mean? And,
I love it.
You know, being an executives, balancing, that 9-to-5 life, entrepreneurial life, traveling, parenting, all of these things that, we don't usually get that insight on. So I got my questions locked and loaded. You see this? I'm still cooking. I'm going to make sure that we definitely, we dig deep into Candace and Evan's lives to really find out how we could, create similar success and relationship goals.
Awesome. Let's go. That's what it is. You already? Awesome.
Crée ta propre vie.
Create your life.
创造你的生活。
Create your life.
Crea la tua vita.
Create your life.
Skip your liver.
You gotta create your life.
Create your life.
Create la vie.
Create your life.
Create your life.
Beautiful people, this is the Create Your Life series. I'm your host, Kevin Y. Brown, and it is an amazing day to be here with you. We have some amazing guests in the studio, actually humbled to have them here, who have driven all the way up from New Jersey to be here in the Ujo, in the studio. But before we bring them on, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers out there. And I also want to say that, remind y'all that May is National Foster Care Month, and being that I am and was a foster care child for almost 18 years, I want to say shout out to all of my foster care brothers and sisters. I want y'all to stay strong and keep striving. And I also want to say thank you to all the foster parents out there who are helping my foster care brothers and sisters keep striving and remaining strong. I also want to give y'all an update because over the last week I actually dropped an ebook, a free ebook entitled The 10 Success Secrets that I learned while interviewing Beyonce's dad. So I want you to go to the website, CYLSeries.com, and sign up, and you'll get the ebook. And you can also go to the direct link, which is bit.ly.com, bit.ly.com / all capitals CYLS Beyonce. And I know y'all know how to spell that, so we don't got to go too much further into it. But that being said, I want to talk to you all, and I want to let you know who we have in the studio with us here today. For this particular person, when it comes to being awesome, that is who they are. He is truly the definition of it. Carefully crafted his professional entertainment and musical career. He has worked for some of the top retail and manufacturing companies in the world, still finding time to executive produce 3 podcasts, write and record music, as well as being a loving father. passionate about what he does. He prides himself on achievement, education, motivation, and family. So that's a whole mouthful right there. But in this moment, in the studio also, this is why I said we have such a treat, because we also have his better half. I'm going to call her his better half, right? And this young lady is a 10-year veteran in her entertainment business. She found her love for entertainment while attending college. There she was, she had a top-ranked radio show and internet at a concert, and interned at a concert arena. That's how her journey began. She's now taking her own personal experiences and sharing them with the world. She does that by hosting the Little Miss Entertainment podcast, and her show shares her party planning secrets, styles on budget tips, relationship advice, and much more. So I want to introduce none other than Mr. Evan Griffin and Miss Candace Davis. Please say hello to the Create Your Life family.
What's up,
Great
everybody?
Great introduction. I like to call myself a maverick, if you will, something like a jack of all trades.
Yeah.
I like to say most likely to start succeeding, Mr. Lead himself before he leads others. That's a big one, right?
Hey,
and last but not least, awesome.
Yes, absolutely. What's up, everybody? It's your girl Candace, aka Little Miss ENT, and I'm just humbled to be on this amazing show.
I gotta be honest, it's funny. Me and Ev, we go way back. We actually reconnected maybe like 2 years ago. Randomly saw each other and was like, "Dude, what are you up to? What are you up to?"
What are you doing here?
Right, exactly. What are you doing here? And found out that we were both podcasting and stuff like that. And he was like, "Man, you gotta meet my girlfriend. Man, you gotta meet my girlfriend. She's amazing. She has her podcast. She's doing these dynamic things." I'm like, "Dude, I would love to." And so this has been in the making for a while now.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we collaborated on your Ambition event, right?
Yes,
Behind the scenes work.
Create Your Life family. I want to be honest with you. That Ambition event that we did last June wouldn't have happened without Evan. Evan was the one who really said, "You know what, you have to do this." And he came and met with me here at the studio. We talked about it. This dude he was the mind, the genius behind it. I gotta be honest.
He's the man. He's the man behind everything.
I can't take all the credit. It's definitely a collaboration of minds, and great things happen when great people get in the room together.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like that. I respect that. I want to jump right in, and I think, one of the big conversations that has been happening lately, I guess, in my circle and in other circles, is the relevance of HBCUs. And I think that you guys' experience is interesting because, Candace, you went to a PWI or a non-HBCU, and Evan, you went to a HBCU.
Yeah.
So can y'all both tell us a little bit, like Ev, how did you like the HBCU experience? Do you think that it was worth it? Candace, the same for you, and how prepared did you feel, coming out?
Well, I had a great college experience, and me and you, Kevin, went to the same college in Atlanta. Shout out to Clark Atlanta University. And
CAU?
Coming from New Jersey, it was definitely a shock, because I didn't understand the happenings. I put it like that, the happenings that was going on. So it was a big adjustment, but got in with a good group of guys. We all became professionals today. And by the time I graduated, I was 100% ready to take on the world. I was ready for Mount Everest. I was ready for whatever you threw at me.
Yeah.
But coming out of college is where the difficult adjustment is. That's when the real world kicks back in, and that's when we found out I entered this world of low diversity, low inclusion, hostile takeovers, and massive layoffs.
Mm.
So I had to really work to put myself in a position that this would not happen again, because I got laid off because somebody bought the company and fired everybody. Like, we literally came to work one day and there was 50 garbage cans, and it was like, everybody clean out your desk. And
Wow.
That's crazy.
It wasn't performance based. It wasn't no person. It was just somebody. 3G Capital, Warren Buffett bought Heinz ketchup when I was in Pittsburgh, and it was literally 24 hours. Everything was different. Unemployed, had a family, had to adjust, but bounced back. Started my own company, right, and that gave me the motivation to do that. So I always base everything off of a couple of things. There's no such thing as failures, right? There's only lessons. You've heard that before. And that is a prime example of that. I took that learning opportunity, as crazy or cliche as it may sound, and it gave me the strength to do better, to understand what I needed to do to provide for my family.
Okay.
So out of great loss comes great success.
Yeah, going to, shout out to Wilkes University. I'm a Wilkes University graduate.
Where is that? Let us know.
Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. If you're ever watching Jeopardy, it's the only hyphenated city in the whole country.
Nice.
And it always comes up on Jeopardy. Shout out to Wilkes-Barre. But, you know, I went to school originally because I wanted to be a pharmacist. And 100%, I was like, okay, Wilkes is known for pharmacy school. It's one of the top rated schools in the country for pharmaceuticals. So I went to school, and I quickly realized that I was like, this is not for me. And I, in high school, was always in the media program, actually an advanced media program. I was our news anchor for our high school news station, and I went I went to the communications program, and I said, hey, listen, I'm probably going to leave because I don't like my program. And they said, okay, next semester you can switch over your major. And I linked up with my mentor and very good friend, Jane Els Crayhall. She is one of the who's who in the news industry. She just took me under her wing. She saw something in a bright, ambitious young female, and she skyrocketed me to the top. I was just actually having this conversation. I wasn't going to be able to financially go back to school my sophomore year. Actually, I wasn't going to be able to go back the second semester my freshman year. But I had made such an impact on my campus. I was an RA. Well, I wasn't an RA yet. I was my class president. I was actively involved in our school activities, and my dean said, listen, he called my mom. He said, you know, she hasn't registered. My mom gave the typical answer, cannot afford to pay for it. He said, give me 1 hour. And he said, give me 1 hour and let me figure something out. And when he said that, he kept his promise. He called back in 1 hour, and my whole freshman year was taken care of by a donor.
Beautiful.
Lesson.
And that's better than school loans.
I mean, I had some school loans, but from there, it kind of gave me the ambition to figure it out, but it just gave me an opportunity, and that's all you ever need in life, is the opportunity to make a way for yourself.
Find a way or make one? That's what you mean?
Find a way or make one, literally.
And that's funny you bring that up, is because going through the downtimes, that was in the back of my mind, right?
Yeah.
Like, we saw that all the time. We saw that on the Monica walking to class. Mm-hmm. We saw that on our pages and papers, and even when we graduated, and it doesn't kick in until you have to find that
100%.
way, until you have to make one. And I was like, wow, the motto was perfection for what we were going through later, you know?
Yeah.
And they just had to line it up. I just wish they lined it up a little bit more, you know, for after college. Right.
So Candace, tell us a little bit. So your dean got you to stay that freshman year. Obviously, you went ahead and matriculated. So how did you feel as far as preparation for your life after college?
I felt totally prepared. I had a very competitive internship at the Wachovia Arena in Wilkes-Barre. They accept 2 kids a semester. It's like 300 schools in the immediate area, and I was one of like 400 applicants to get that internship. And I worked in the box office, I worked in marketing, and I stepped right into a role in the box office for a major entertainment company.
Right.
And I just felt fully prepared. Every class that I took in college, from PR, organizational communication, all my psychology classes, it prepared me to be a manager, to be an operations person, to be a marketer. I thought that my collegiate experience was just amazing. And it has a lot to do with your ambition. How hard, how much do you want it? Because sometimes people go to college, and it's because somebody is paying for them to go through school that they're just kind of, they're there, but they're not absorbing, right?
Well, you're saying one of my favorite words, which is ambition.
Yes.
You know, I live by that. That's the name of the event.
Yeah.
That is my word. I guess for me, because you both are, you're entrepreneurs, but you also are managing a career at 9 to 5 as 2 corporate executives.
Yeah.
What do you feel like were 2 of the top things or habits or mindsets that you needed to break through in order to make it to the level that you've made it to now?
Yeah. Well, as a female, I know people say this is cliche, but being a woman of color, I have to work twice as hard to just get half of what anybody's going to offer me. So just always showing up. My other mentor, showing up and showing out is half the battle. Coming to work late, right, is a no-go.
Right.
Coming to work early and being the first person in the office, that shows something about yourself. So it's all about what people are perceiving you as, right? And literally just just coming to work on time and being better. you have to constantly, also another thing is you have to be a student of the game.
You do.
You have to always be recreating your brand at work, right? You have to always be keeping up with cutting edge technologies or whatever the industry leading, whatever in your organization or your career, you have to be ahead of the game.
And that ties into mine is sort of the teamwork, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's how we were able to set everything up, was just us working together. While she's busy doing work things, I'm covering and doing the videos or doing the editing, and then at the same time, when I'm busy, she's doing it. So
Yeah.
you need a great team. Everybody has a great team, and a lot of people don't set themselves up for success by creating a team. A lot of it would be, I can do everything myself and I don't need any help, and I'm self-made, MMG, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's really about connecting, collaborating, getting out there and being at the right place at the right time, working with the team. And so that was big for us.
So Evan, coming out of college and having the career span that you've had so far, what would you say is one of the major mindsets or habits that you needed to break in order to remain where you are and grow to who you are now?
Do not worry about what anybody else is doing or what anybody else says. Do what makes you happy. And that's what really got me to this point. I was at one point I didn't have a hobby. I didn't have anything. I was just going to work, going home, and was really found kind of empty. So I actually read this book by this woman, this great book by Gretchen Rubin. It's called The Happiness Project.
Okay.
And in there, she had 8 rules of happiness, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was number 1, let it go. Number
Mm-hmm.
2, do it now. 3, act the way you want to feel. Be polite, be fair, enjoy the process, identify the problem, have no calculations, and there's only love, right? So those are the 8 things. You can adjust them how you want. But she
I'm
also
ready to read that right now.
Yeah.
it was big. It was
I'm
big.
about to download that on my Kindle.
And then she also said, write down what you like to do. And I simply made a list of what I like to do, and it was, podcasting was one of them.
Mm-hmm.
We had the opportunity to get in really early. Like, we've been doing it for almost 4 years now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah, at that time, there was no podcast. There was always the Apple podcast, like market, but it wasn't until a certain year they put the button on the iPhones that the boom started happening.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then that's when when everybody sort of caught up, and then we were right at the forefront of that. So I remember there was maybe less than 100 podcasts even on the iTunes
On the charts.
before the boom, and then
Yeah.
our second year in is when the boom happened, and we were already almost 100 episodes in at that time. So we were really ahead of the curve and really had a lot of content. We collaborated on teamwork, and it just happened from a conversation that me and her had when me and her met, which we'll get into later. And
Man,
just
nah,
explore.
we right there. Because
Right
I was
there.
like, man, you going too far. Like, we got to back this up a little bit so I can know, you know what I mean? How is it that y'all met? Like, what's the situation? Because, the beauty is that you went to school in Atlanta, you went to school in Pennsylvania,
Yep.
right? But you both are from New Jersey,
Yeah.
From
right?
New Jersey, yep.
So, in Neptune and Maysdale?
Maysland.
Maysland.
Yeah,
That's right. My fault.
M-Town.
Right. M-Town. Get it right. My bad, M-Town. Don't hit me.
Don't come for
Don't
it.
hurt me. Right. I don't want no trouble. So, how do y'all cross paths?
Well, there was a lot of cross paths that we didn't know about, right?
Yeah.
Like, she went to Wilkes. My stepbrother actually went to Wilkes.
Nice.
So he used to play football, and I used to go to Wilkes. Of course, different times. He's much older, but I used to go to Wilkes campus and watch his football games. So I already knew about Wilkes. So
Wow.
funny story.
It was
there.
so weird when because it's a smaller college.
Yeah.
Right.
Not everybody's just out hanging
Going
out
to
at
Wilkes
Wilkes.
on
Yeah.
weekends. Yeah. Then just so happened, a lot of
I love
people
it.
that I went to high school with went to college with her friends.
Yes. Yeah. So a lot of our friends are intermingled, and then I was at a point in my life where I had grown so rapidly in my career. I had gotten 6 promotions in 5 years.
Wow.
I literally went from coordinator to supervisor to manager to ops manager, regional manager to director. Now I'm regional director. And so I was like on the fast track. I was very focused, and I just was missing a part of my life, and that is to share your life with somebody. Right? We don't work this hard. I don't care what anybody says. You might not believe in marriage, but everybody wants to share their life with somebody, right? Like, you don't want to die alone, and
Gotcha.
whoever that may be. And I literally, my friends were like joking around. Shout out to actually my coordinator. She actually is the one who put me on. She said, do you know about this app Tinder? And I was like, no. She was like, I think you should get on there. And literally the first person that engaged in conversation with me was Evan.
That's another
swipe
thing.
right.
Yeah.
Holla.
So one and done, right? So she was. I had just moved back to Jersey.
Okay.
Same thing. Somebody recommended the app to me. I've been on there just one day and met her, and then that was it. Never talked to anybody else. It wasn't like 50 people, and out of the 50, I went on 10 dates. No, it was just her.
I literally, because I thought it actually was a game until like I talked to him, and I was like, oh, like he's serious about me. I was like, this is amazing. And he didn't let one day pass from the time that we started speaking to make me feel special or come see me and then we didn't at the time live super close to one another, so he was putting in some real effort.
I didn't know how far it was, honestly. I thought it was closer. Because I had told her when we actually met, I told her to meet like maybe 20 miles from where I live. I didn't understand that it was a whole nother 20 miles from where she was actually at. It was like kind of far. So it was crazy. But a deeper point to your question, Kev, it was also time for us to meet, right? Like, not to be like super or whatever, but I went through a relationship before and even have a daughter, and I allowed myself to go through the healing process and didn't start dating until I was ready and serious about dating. A lot of people get on the apps, they play around, they're still in relationships, they're still married. I wasn't doing anything. I went through all my phases of whatever till I was 100% honest with myself about what I wanted and knew what I wanted, and then I was able to pursue it in a genuine way. So the way I came across on the app was me genuinely looking to connect with somebody, and she always talks about our first date because I was sitting there talking to her, I wasn't rubbing on her leg, I had my arm around, I wasn't trying to get a kiss the first time. I was legitimately talking to her, trying to get to know her and see what we had in common so we could grow as a couple.
I was so shocked. I had always had like guys like being very aggressive, like how he's saying like, oh, come here baby, let me talk to you, like like,
on the side of the booth,
and we talked until the restaurant closed, and we go there, and I still make him take me there every once in a while.
Yeah,
like,
we just went there.
We just went there. Yeah, it is. I live for it, and it's so real. A lot of people ask me how you know that you're in love. You know that you're in love when you're being loved properly. You have to be, somebody has to be loving you for you to be in love.
And you have to be able to accept it.
Yes.
That's true.
Beautiful people, this is the Create Your Life series. I'm your host, Kevin Y. Brown, and we are joined here today by Evan Griffin and Candace Davis. I keep saying their real names, but they have their own podcast and they do amazing things on social media.
That's right.
So this is really the awesome nobody and Little Miss ENT.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So before we left, y'all was telling us about, the goals, the things that make your relationship work. And you had said something earlier in the interview that I thought was really interesting. You said that you had got into podcasting maybe about 4 years ago, before it actually became a button on the phone and really, really began to pick up and become what it is today. My question is how do you grow? Now we're looking for tips and hacks, right? For the listeners. What are some of your strategies to growing your actual podcast audience? Because Candace, your podcast is pretty big. Eb, yours is great. You do yours in seasons, which there's two completely different ways.
Yeah.
And there's actually more than two different ways to do a podcast. Other than just doing continuous. So what are some of you guys' strategies in order to grow in your podcast?
I definitely think, for one, you definitely have to have the voice for it, right? That helps.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be pleasant to listen to, but then also too, you have to have something to talk about. And something niche to talk about. And when I say niche, just meaning everyone wants to have like a variety show, just a talk show where they throw pop culture, current stuff out there. But we actually have a message, and we actually connect to a lot of causes, right? So like last month we did lupus awareness, right? We actually had one of your friends on there who actually was talking about lupus, right?
Yeah.
What was his name?
Sophia Benson.
Yeah, and that episode ended up being really great, and it was really, really personal and really, really real,
Yeah.
And I think by connecting it to a cause and having a message is what people can relate to, right?
Absolutely.
Give them something that they can connect to and get behind, so they can contribute, they can donate. It's for a cause, right?
I think Awesome said it perfectly. There's so many podcasts out there that do similar formats, but the ones that are really successful that do similar formats are always themselves and very unique. Another thing that makes our podcast so special is that we put in the work. And I know a lot of people, like
Say that again,
we put in the work. People will
Love it.
be like, oh, I start a podcast, I randomly record, I don't have any consistency. You know, I was just, when we were off air, I was just talking about anything that you guys see that is on our Instagrams, our social media, we have been planning that for 6 months.
It's God's plan.
This is it literally is God's plan. And so when you're seeing all of these things, we're already in 2019. We have dates booked for 2019. So also a big thing that I think has grown the engagement with our listeners are all the live events that we do.
Oh yeah, we're on.
Yes.
We're on our third live
event. Yeah.
The next one will be the fourth live event that we have done. And they are amazing because you can actually, going to a live podcast is so dope because if you're not that type of person, just turn a podcast on and listen to it on a drive. Now, once I've hooked you in with what, you know, talking and doing all of those types of things, people are engaged. They're like, and now the biggest marketing tool for podcasting is word of mouth. That's the biggest marketing tool, period.
Yeah.
Right.
So once somebody's like, yo, have you heard the Little Miss Entertainment Show? Then the other person says, have you heard the Little Miss Entertainment Show? And I've got 10, 20, 30, 100 new listeners. So that's a big importance, being engaged to your audience.
Also consistency, right? Like you can't start and stop. You gotta keep giving them content. Keep giving them content until it connects.
Yeah.
Because they miss it. I always say they miss it the first time, but in the
First
second
7 times.
Then
Yeah.
and then the next time they're like, oh, I'll come. Because when you ask somebody and tell them about an event, they always say, oh, well, I'll come to the next one. I'll come to the next one. But what happens when you really have a next one?
Yeah.
And when you have a next one after that?
Yeah.
So it's like keeping consistent and then giving them something that they can relate to. Like when I travel, always stay at the Hampton Inns, right? Because I'm familiar with that. It's consistency I can recognize with that.
Right,
The same thing. We connected from, you know it's dropping on Monday.
Yep.
Then you know what you're going to get. We're going to be interviewing somebody or talking about something that you can relate to, or
Yeah.
that you want to know
That's our
about
whole
in a
premise.
detailed way.
Yep.
And it's going to be a good content.
And then also for our branding purposes, a lot of people ask, how did we grow the brand?
Right.
I have good management. Evan is my manager.
Awesome nobody.
Awesome is the best manager ever. He is, I mean, we have 9 to 5. So from 5 to 1 in the morning, we're working on our passion project.
Love that.
And he is always getting gigs. So we got, the biggest booking to the date is we got on this show called In Love or Not,
Yeah.
which was a YouTube reality series on Soul Pancake.
Yeah.
And we flew out to LA and we did the whole production, and it's kind of like a guessing game. Like they ask couples these questions and you have to guess if we're in love or not.
Yeah.
That was a huge opportunity.
That was big.
That's at 100,000 views on that page right now.
Let's go.
And thank you.
It was paid.
It was paid.
Shouts
Paid
out.
did. Yeah, he always.
Can you manage me, man?
Yeah,
Can you
listen,
manage me?
I tell you.
he's dope. But then we plugged the podcast. They asked us what the
Right.
one
Oh,
thing
yeah.
that we connect on, and we were like, of course, we're plugging the podcast.
Absolutely.
So the end of the clip, I do the hey, what's up, what's up, what's up,
Yeah,
everybody, and that's my signature tagline. And now that's out there, branded forever.
Love it.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
that's where we've gotten some of the major growth.
Okay. Just real quick, 3 tips to throw a successful live event.
3
Mm-hmm.
tips.
Yep.
Definitely planning.
Planning.
Let's see, content
Yes.
and equipment.
What about each of those, though?
Well, planning, I mean, it's the rule of chaos when you start to do a live event. Everything that you can go wrong will go wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right?
Mhm.
Ticket sales won't necessarily, well, marketing won't reflect ticket sales.
Mhm.
Ticket sales might not even come through. The venue might cancel on you. So you have to have plan for a plan for a plan.
Yep.
And then also what I say, content.
Yep.
I mean, don't get a whole bunch of people in a room and then just have everybody talk in a circle. Like,
Yeah.
you have to curate this.
that's why I like to
I
do
love
guest
that.
and interviews
Yeah.
because we always save like the
Mhm.
big interviews for the live ones because everybody wants to
Yeah.
hear. The last one we had was Blinky Blink, the rapper from Harlem World.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, he talked about from the beginning of his
Mace,
career,
Mace,
all
being a
through the bad boy
Yeah.
years, and people. I mean, you could hear a pin drop in there. They were so
It was
engaged.
relatable.
Yeah.
And then the last one, equipment, is because if you don't sound good,
Mm-mm.
right, the message is not going to come across.
Right.
And then if you can't capture it the way now it's mostly visual and putting on your podcast, you just wasted your time and everybody else's time.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so it's,
Right.
we invest in mics, we invest in the cameras, we invest in the GoPros, we invest in flyers and
I
marketing.
think that's the important part that Evan's talking about equipment. is that we're recording live right now.
Mhm.
We will record on our own laptop, and we will go live and
Gotcha.
stream. You have to have all that, because what are you putting together a $1,300 event to not have any of the content?
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah.
Okay. That being said, we're gonna switch gears a little bit. So I want to know, can y'all swim? Can Little Miss ENT and Awesome Nobody, can y'all swim?
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned at summer camp maybe when I was like 10 or 11.
Okay.
I actually was on a swim team.
Of course. I just like the fact she gave you the side eye, like, bro, like,
She's like, I was on a swim
yeah, I was
team.
on a swim team. Like,
Did I say
this
it
is
was
what I
Olympic?
do.
Did I say it was
Right.
Olympic?
Right. Junior Olympics, Olympics. I competed, Sydney. Okay, so let's jump into the dolphin tank.
Okay.
All right, so here you go. This rapid fire questions. Each of y'all have to answer to. I want to put that out there.
Okay, cool.
All right,
You wanna go
you
first?
ready?
I'll go
You
first.
ready?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. Little Miss ENT first. What are your goal setting methods, and how do you measure that your goals are growing each year?
Absolutely. My goal setting methods is getting a whiteboard. I write all of my goals on a whiteboard, and then when I achieve it, I erase it and replace it with a new one.
Okay.
I always do that. I measure that in completion. It depends on what the goal is, right? If it's a monetary goal, of course, if I've saved $5,000, I'm erasing that off there because I have the $5,000.
Right.
If it's losing 15 pounds, I've gone to the gym, I've lost the 15 pounds.
Gotcha.
So that's kind of how I measure goals, is upon completion. But I also do think that there's an in-between of achieving a goal, which is kind of like, I didn't lose 15, but I lost 10, so now do I make that a new goal? Do I make it 20 pounds
And
because
so,
I didn't
what
get
would
the
you
15?
do? Would you make it, you need to lose that 5, or would you add on something extra?
I would add some additional to that. I would say now I need to lose 20.
Okay, cool. Ev, go.
What was the first one again?
What was the question? The question is, what are your goal setting methods, and how do you measure that you're achieving?
I kind of, same thing, planning, but it's a little bit more sporadic. I kind of go with the flow. So the best plan is having no plan, right? I just like to get the people that I'm working with together, and we go from there, right? And we'll figure it out along the way. Kenneth hates that about me sometimes, but I understand about setting too many plans and having too much structure is going to fall apart. And what was the second part?
How do you achieve? How do you
How do you
measure?
measure it?
How do I achieve it? It's just expertise. I understand it takes time, and Kenneth also hates this. You unfortunately have to play around with it until you figure it out. Right? She hates those two things. So
Yeah.
I would literally pick up the camera and not know how it works, play with it
You
until
will
I
never
figure it
read
out.
the directions.
And figure it out and then go with it. But by the time I'm so intimate with the object in the camera or the video equipment, I understand everything more than I can read in a book. I only do that when it comes to equipment.
Yeah.
But everything else, I'm all about textbooks.
I appreciate the fact that you both let each other operate in your own styles, right?
Yeah.
That's important. Okay, next question. Top tech that you're using to make your business and company run smoothly.
I think the top technology right now that we're using is YouTube. I don't think people yet realize with the podcasting world how crucial it is to have a YouTube page.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
I think that people will pick up on that.
And to my song point, and then to connect with you, because all my music, I get paid for my music. All my streaming comes from YouTube. So I was like, yo, we need to just go straight YouTube, because that's the only thing that's paying me when it comes to these other streams.
Yep.
Okay. All right, cool. Favorite quote or model that you live by?
Oh, this is one of my favorite. Oprah is my idol. I'm her adopted daughter. I love you, Oprah. Turn your wounds into wisdom. I see so many people that I can't do that because I didn't have a father growing up. I can't do that because I don't got the right job. Like, all of those things that hurt you in the past are the reason that you could be better. So when Oprah says turn your wounds into wisdom, especially as a female, like, don't let a broken heart from a guy deflect you from getting the coins and grabbing the bag. Like, I think not enough people have those woe is me moments, but take that energy and turn it into something great.
Okay. Ed?
Mine is, shout out to Combat Jack, dream those dreams, then man up, woman up, and live those dreams, because a life without dreams is black and white, and the universe flows in technicolor and surround sound.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. Shout out to
R.I.P.
Combat, yeah. Rest in peace. Okay. Favorite or the most impactful book that you've read?
Favorite book that I've read that everybody go out right now, stop what you're doing, go on Amazon and read it, is Who Moved My Cheese.
Oh, yeah.
It
Oh, yeah,
is
that's a
like
good one.
50 pages long, but your mind will be blown after you read Who Moved My Cheese. It's all about getting outside of your comfortability to get out of your own way. People need to read it. it's all metaphors in it. So you need to read that book.
Mine was The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin.
Love it.
Yeah, definitely a big inspirational book. Basically, it made me go out and check my hobbies, and then eventually led me to podcasting.
Okay. 3 jewels that you would tell someone looking to create their best life.
Three
We
jewels.
need 3 from both of y'all.
3 jewels to create your best life. Never give up. Never give up. Never give up. And then also stay focused. Just because one thing doesn't happen, it doesn't mean that it's not all going to come together. Just keep focused, and also be supportive. Support those who support you. That's actually kind of a stolen line from my friend Brittany. She says, love those who love you, but support those who support you, because you will become a unit one day, and then your unit will be your network, and everybody will be invested in one another.
Wow, that's really nice. You said 3 jewels.
Yeah.
Mine would definitely be going back to some of those 8 things that Gretchen Rubin said. Let it go.
Yes,
A lot of people
that's
have
big.
residual leftover feelings that enable them to go forward. Do it now. Don't wait. Don't listen to anybody. Push through and believe in yourself. And then enjoy the process.
Okay. I love those 3 jewels. Actually, we have a caller on the line. Someone's
Okay.
called in. Caller, are you there? Okay. Please let us know who you are and where you're calling in from. Okay, Dr. Austin. Okay.
Nice.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for calling in on this great day. Did you have a question for our guest, or?
So are you,
Okay.
We appreciate your support.
Oh.
thank you very much. And you listen to a lot of podcasts, and you've come to one of our live events.
Yep.
And this is great to connect with you again.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's
Thank you
what's
for
up.
your support.
We appreciate all of your support.
Yes.
Thank you
Awesome.
so much.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Austin, for calling in. All right. Have a good one. Bye. How awesome is that? Y'all got people coming in. I keep saying awesome, and we got Mr. Awesome, nobody, the man embodying the word here.
It's pretty catchy. That's why it's pretty
I like
catchy.
it. I like it. I like where y'all coming from with that. Okay, so what's next for y'all? What's going on with y'all? Coming up.
There's more podcasting, more YouTube videos, and possibly might do an instructional course on podcasting. It's big,
Okay.
Just a breakdown. It's probably be like a 10-part series that'll go from what is a podcast, how to start your podcast, how to upload, and then more live shows, of course.
Yeah.
I'm doing more music. Music is always a passion project for me, right? And the way we collaborate with the music on the podcast is because I used to do all the intros
Yeah.
for Little Miss Entertainment
All
Show.
custom
So
intros.
season 2, season 3, season 4 was all custom intros that I would do our rap. And then after that, just go to more live events. So there's 2 differences. I said do live events and go to live events. That's 2 different things, and that's big. So
Okay.
Yep,
Okay.
and then we are traveling to LA for BET weekend.
That's right.
We're doing a live podcast at the Network and Chill event. That is June 23rd. You can head over to my Instagram. My Instagram, all of my social media is the same. I keep it pretty simple. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's at Little Miss ENT, LILMISSENT. So we're just prepping for our live podcast at that event. We're going to do an open call for BET casting call while we're there. And I also do the reality recap with Ooh La La blog every Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern time. That's on IG Live, yep. And her and I, we just talk about all the reality shows and the shenanigans that go on. And then we're getting into the next season of Little Miss Entertainment.
And the books.
Absolutely, we're writing a collaborative book that should be dropping soon. And then, awesome, you want to tell me the big news?
Yeah, professionally, I've been working pretty hard on this, and I'm looking to own franchise in my own business right
Yeah.
now. I'm on my 4th interview with the company, and hopefully I'll find out soon whether or not they accept me or not, but I will go from just being a professional and corporate executive to an actual owner of a franchise, a top franchise too. So we'll just keep your fingers crossed and look for that.
Well, we're claiming it for you here
Yes,
at the
we
Create Your
are.
Life series. You know what I
We
mean?
are.
Because it's all about creating your life, creating opportunities for yourself and for your daughter and
Yes,
those who
definitely.
come behind you. So we claiming it for you, man. This is done.
Absolutely.
You are a franchise owner.
There
We're
you
saying
go.
it for you,
Talking
man.
into existence.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So I'm loving it. All right. So Awesome Nobody, can you give us your social media handle so that we can stay in contact with you as well?
Definitely. My most active is Instagram. That's at awesome_nobody. Twitter is awesome NOBDY. Somebody stole the O. And then Facebook, same thing, Awesome Nobody on all platforms. And then
Okay.
also Spotify, though, the music. You don't forget, if you have Spotify or Tidal, I know y'all got Tidal out there. Just type in Awesome Nobody, and I guarantee you'll be amazed at what you find.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also the YouTube channel is the Little Miss ENT show on the YouTube.
That's right.
And Evan is the executive producer for the Little Miss Entertainment podcast and that YouTube channel. Does all the technical editing and producing and audio. So he is a jack of all trades.
Hold on, I can't let y'all run without talking about the what about the show that you got with your daughter?
Oh, yeah.
That's right. So, going into more entertainment, music, film, love film, and then so what we did was I started a YouTube channel where we review and do what they call trailer reviews.
Yep.
And it grew kind of big. Our first video, we got 2,000 views in one day. It's big,
Nice.
just for a passion. And then took that, I started sending out press passes to the Comic-Cons.
Yeah.
And it was big. And we just we came back from the Greater Philadelphia Comic-Con where she was the host. And I went
I love
around
it.
and interviewed her. So she's getting into all this stuff about being in front of the camera, working around equipment, and then just meeting celebrities. So
Yeah.
it's good.
Got another little Miss ENT around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's right.
Pancakes,
Yeah,
pancakes, that's her
So,
name. Check them out.
Yeah, just
Okay.
and you can find that on YouTube. Our videos, me and my daughter, it's at movie_guru_. That's how you have to search for it in YouTube, and then you'll see me and her videos up there, and she's
Yeah.
doing reviewing.
Okay. Well,
Super dope.
Create Your Life family, y'all know what time it is. If you listen to the show, then you know it's time for the turnaround. And what is the turnaround? The turnaround is where the guests get to ask me any questions that they want, and I have to answer. Totally unscripted, totally, I don't know what they're going to say. I'm a little nervous. I
Yeah.
feel like Candace is going to ask the real tough questions. And I'm like nervous, but I'm going to survive. So you two are now in control.